The other day, I was in London, Trafalgar Square, and it was in that place that I learned something about validation. And for many of you guys who are not familiar with London, Trafalgar Square, is one of the most notable place in London, and it's also one of the places where you'll find a crowd of pigeons. And on this particular day, I was focusing on a group of pigeons. There was a crowd of them, and as I was focusing on the group of pigeons, there was one particular pigeon. When it was time to take off, when he sensed a bit of danger, he just took off. And as I watched him take off, I saw that not long after, the other pigeons started to follow him. And it was at that very moment that I learned something about validation. And I know what you're thinking right now. Rudolf, what has pigeon flying got to do with validation? Just stick with me. It's all going to make sense very soon. So what I learned from that pigeon that very day is something that changed my life. And since that very day, I always refer back to that particular day. So what I learned from that pigeon was that this pigeon knew that it had the ability to fly. And when it was time to take off, I did not see the pigeon look to the side, look behind to see if it was okay for him to take off. I did not see the pigeon consult other pigeons like, yo, it's time for us to leave. When it was time to take off, the pigeon just took off. The pigeon did not seek permission. The pigeon did not seek validation. When it was time to take off, the pigeon took off. The pigeon did not even ask if it was safe to take off. The pigeon didn't wait for anyone. The pigeon just took off. The pigeon didn't need validation because the pigeon had the confidence that when he spreads his wings, he will fly. So the question now to you is that if the pigeon knows that it has the ability to fly, what about you? Why are you constantly seeking for people's validation before you take off? And that day I learned a life lesson, and that is this: that everything that you need to become is already inside of you. Anything that you need to succeed is already inside of you. Now I know it sounds like an old cliche, greatness is inside of you, but the truth in the matter is, it really is. The pigeon uniqueness is flying. And because the pigeon has so much confidence in its uniqueness, the pigeon did not look for validation from the other pigeons. It seems like we are the only creatures that constantly are looking for validation from other human beings. Do you think it's okay for me to start my dreams? Do you think if I do this, it will succeed? Do you think you like this color on me? We are constantly seeking for validation. But in order to fulfill your dreams, in order to achieve your purpose in life, you have to sometimes go against the grain. You have to turn your back against everyone and go after what you were created to do. Because when I started my motivational talks, a lot of my family members did not even understand what I was doing. I quite remember one of my uncle called me one day after I finished a TV interview live in Ghana. My uncle called me and said, when you started this whole motivational thing standing in front of camera, I did not really understand it until I saw you in front of the camera today. It began to sink in that you're actually making a huge impact in people's life. Now imagine if I was seeking validation from family members, I possibly wouldn't be in this position I am right now today. So the question I'm asking you is, why are you constantly seeking for validation? Stop seeking for validation. Now please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we shouldn't seek out mentorship. We shouldn't seek out guidance. But when it comes to your innate ability, the gift that the Most High has given unto you, you haven't got the luxury, the time to even be wasting and asking questions and seeking permission from other human beings to become the person you was created to be. On this channel, we focus on the 3 P's: purpose, potential, and personal fulfillment. Everything that you need to become great is already inside of you. It is called potential. You have to release your potential to become great. So as always, we want to leave you with practical steps to become the best version of yourself. So for today, if the next time a great idea comes to your mind that is in line with your purpose, I want you to act upon it. Don't go and seek permission. Don't go and ask anyone, is it okay for me to start? I just want you to act upon it. And the key word is, as long as it's in line with your purpose, where you were called to be, I want you to act. So that means if it is starting a new podcast, go and start that podcast. Don't go and ask people, will you watch my podcast if I start a podcast? Go and start a podcast. If it's starting a business, go and start that business. If it's becoming a public speaker, go out there and speak. Whatever you set your mind to do, take this practical step today, that go out there without seeking people's validation. Be like like that pigeon that I saw on that day when I visited Trafalgar Square. That pigeon didn't seek permission. When it was time to take off, it took off. So today, I want you to take off in your life. I want you to become the best version of yourself. Guys, if you like videos like this, please do not forget to subscribe, like, and comment on this video, because this channel is dedicated to a community of people who are ready to become all that they were created to be. Thank you for watching.